again, our quiz tomorrow is just, the review for our quiz tomorrow is just this front side here. The one that says review 3.1 to 3.4. 2 of the problems are circled. I copied these out of another book. And 7 and 12. 12 is 3.5, 7 is 3.6. We haven't done those yet. We're kind of in the middle of 3.5 right now. So those 2 are off the board. So did anybody happen to look at it at lunch when you weren't looking at Instagram or playing
baby
games
photos,
or whatever? Okay. Sarah's your hand up. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Like this.
Can you do number 4?
4. A gallon of milk cost $1.99 2 years ago. Yeah, it cost $2.19. 2 years percent was an annual rate increase in the cost. So there are a couple of different ways that you can do this, but let's back up a minute. At the very beginning of the chapter, there were some problems that were like, I don't know, my textbook cost $15.18. It's going up 7%. So we multiplied by 1.07, remember that? And that's how we got it. Now, if it were going up 7% every year, and we wanted to know how much it would be worth after 2 years, then we would just multiply by another 1.07. Does that make sense to you? And that would give me the value now, whatever it is. So if we think about the problem like that, we know it's $2.19 now. We know it was $1.99 in the beginning. We don't know what we're multiplying by, but we know we multiplied twice because it was 2 years. So I'll just call this X. So one way to do it would be to take we would divide first, right? So we'll take 219, divide it by 199, and then what? Oh, no logarithm necessary. Now we would just square root. So the square root of 219 divided by 1.99. Now be careful, because when you do that, you get 1.049, which represents what increase? 4.9%. Does that make sense to you? Okay, now, I want to come back to what Peter said a minute ago. He says, oh, we're in the logarithm chapter, we're going to logarithm everything. No, we logarithm when the variable is the exponent. Logarithming this equation would make a mess. We don't want to do that. So here we're just square rooting. We want to logarithm if that was unknown. Okay? All right, one more. Anybody else find one? Thank you, Sarah. We're doing that.
Wait,
which one? What am I doing? 5? Oh, come on. Yes, but we can do this. What does 2 to the x look like? It's an exponential. Doesn't it look like that? So what does 2 to the negative x look like? Well, there's lots of ways to think about it, but you should know that changing the sign on x flips it which way? Across the, not the identity, oh Lord. So that would be a picture of 2 to the negative x. When we talked about these the other day, we talked about them in terms of growth and decay. All right, nothing hard about that. Right, we got that under control. Okay. So, Marin memorized yelling at you earlier. Look at number 11. That's an expansion problem. So you're going to break that apart, like A, 11A. You're going to break that apart into separate logarithms. So first of all, we don't like radicals in logarithm, so we'll rewrite that to the 1/3? And then what happens to the 1/3? It comes out in front. And then what happens to m squared over n? That becomes a subtraction. So 1/3 log m squared minus log n. And then what happens to the 2? It comes out in front of don't bring it out here. Just in front of the log m. Then, if you want to distribute, you can. So you'd have 2/3 log m minus 1/3 log n, right? You could do that if you wanted to. And now the problem is written in terms of the log of m and the log of n, which is what the directions said. Okay, Maren, remember that? Those are your properties along with this. So you can put things together the same way you can take them apart. Here I took them apart. All right, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do number 8. Given that the log of 25 so they're telling me this, 1.3979. Find the value of the log of 2.5.
With a calculator?
No.
So it's usually here.
Okay, so Chris has observed that 2.5 is the same as 25 times 10 to the what? Well, it wouldn't be -2, because if it's -2, that would move the decimal point 2 places, so that would be 0.25. So this is 10 to the negative first. Isn't this a tenth of that? 1/10 of that? And what's the kind of exponent form of a tenth? 10 to the negative first, 1/10? Now, how does that help me? Well, this will be the log of 25 plus the log of 10 to the negative first, 1/10. Is that right? Now the log of 25 is that number. What's the log of 10 to the negative first? -1. So the answer is 0.3979. So then they want to know what's the log of 2,500. Well, isn't 2,500 25 times 100? Which will be the log of 25 plus the log of 100. And that is the number they told me. And what's the log of 100? 2. So that answer would be 3.979. 0.04. 0.04. Well, I hope you're kind of getting the idea that we need this 25 in there. So what is that? Can I somehow rewrite that with a 25 involved?
25, 1,000. Well, never mind.
Isn't 4 over 100, that's 4 over 100? Isn't that 1/25? So this is the same as the log of 1/25, if you think of it as a fraction. And you can do that a couple different ways. One way to do that is to say, okay, it's the log of 1 minus the log of 25. That would be one option. Another option is to think of 1/25 as 25 to the negative first? Is that right? And then -1 log 25. So if I do that, it's just gonna be negative 1.3979. What's it gonna be if I do it this way? What's the log of 1? What's the log of 1? 0 minus 1.3979. Do I get the same answer? It's just however you want to think about it. The test tomorrow, quiz tomorrow is going to be some calculators, some not. So, a calculator type problem would be something like 2 to the x equals 7. I need a calculator to do that, right? Take the logarithm of both sides. But 2 to the x equals 8, I don't need a calculator for, because 8 is a power of 2. So some of the problems will have well, it's only one page, so there aren't that many problems. But you might have a problem where you have a common base, and then you'll have a problem where maybe you don't have a common base. Okay? Answers are posted in Schoology, so feel free to do whatever you want to do there and check your answers. We do have office hours tomorrow morning, so if you're not getting the right answer and you can't figure it out, then come in and talk about it. The quiz is 15 points, 1 page. So this is nothing huge, but you want to do your best, so prepare. Okay? All right, back to our notes. Got a few more to do. Not going to get them done, but that's okay. We'll finish them tomorrow or the next day. I think tomorrow we have shortened periods, so we probably won't get much done other than the quiz. We have a speaker tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron.
Mr. Matthews talked about it on the announcements this morning. Were you not listening?
Her, she was the author of one of the books you could
LeBron
read.
James is
Her
coming.
reading.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
You're
I'm so excited. Like,
All right, here we go. You gotta solve this equation. This is way, way easier than the one we did before lunch. That one was a monster. This one is so easy compared to that. What do you want to do first? Clear the fraction. So 500 equals 200 plus, is that 5,000? Double check that. Is that okay with everybody? Just multiplying this over to here and distributing? Now what? Minus 200. Okay, perfect. Now what? Divide by 5,000, so I'm going to say 3 over 50. ln both sides. So ln 3 over 50 equals 0.3x. So ln 3 divided by 50 divided by 0.3, did you get negative 9.378? Boy, that was easy, man, oh man, oh man, that was easy. Compared to that last one. Okay, so Peter, looking ahead, says, I feel like this one might be another you thing. In other words, it might be another one where if you want, you can substitute, but you don't have to. But do you recognize that there's a quadratic form there? Because this is e to the x squared. So this time I've got 2 of those things, plus 5 of them, minus 3. Now, you don't have to do this substitution, you guys. You can solve it straight from here if you want. I think that one factors, doesn't it? So my U values or M values or whatever letter you want to use are 1/2 and -3, is that right? Those aren't the answers though, are they? M was e to the x. So e to the x is 1/2, or e to the x is not -3. So you can cross that one off. Can't raise a positive number to a power and get a negative, that's not possible. Okay, so how do we solve it?
ln.
So isn't it just gonna be ln 1/2? So -0.693? Did everybody keep up with that okay? Now that we've done a couple of those, they're not so bad, are they?
So try your
Yeah,
doctor.
they're manageable. Okay, all right, well, the next two are easy. So would you do those on your own with your, check answers with your partner? See if you can get these next two figured out? Don't look at mine, you're doing it with your partner.
Just go back up to the top 45. And then also go up to number 7.
Did you get -23 for this first one?
No, it's
That's
because it
crazy.
didn't the last one. I got -32.
I got -0.511 for that second one. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it, yeah. What's wrong, Sarah? I see you staring at it.
I think I just made a mistake with my like original division. Yeah, because it's the ln of. So yeah.
So if you have
Can't hear her. What?
you have a negative x in your exponent, but you're putting ln in front of it, it doesn't matter if it's negative, you always make it a fraction.
Nope. It's fine. No, you can take the logarithm of anything. And if it's ln, that's gone, so it just needs you to get rid of that. It's easier actually to do that. All right, two more and then we'll be done for the day. We gotta get these two done though, because these are logarithmic equations, which is what we started our day with, but they are different. So we wanna make sure we can handle both of them. The second one really is almost identical to the first one we did today. Almost identical. So let's do the second one first here. This is letter N. So what are we gonna do with this guy?
Subtract 3. Oh, never mind.
We're gonna wanna put these two together. So we have log x minus 2, x plus 5, right? And then what happens on the other side? It'll be the log of, it's not 8. This time it's 9 because it's 3 squared. And now, when I have the log of this equal to the log of this, I can set that this is equal to each other. Everyone following along? You can't do that until it's log equals log. As soon as it is, get rid of those logarithms, don't need them anymore. So x squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 9. Is that right? So I'm getting x squared, oh Lord, minus 19. Okay, that's gross. We're gonna need the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of what? $85. Now be careful. Negative 3 plus root 85 over 2. Negative 3 minus root 85 over 2. Now, root 85 is about 9. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So this number is about 3, 6 over 2, 3. 3 is good in my equations, 3 is fine. This number, I'm not sure what it is, but it's gonna be negative, isn't it? Can you have a negative minus 2? No. So that one is extraneous, and this is the only answer. Now, what is different about that other problem? There are no logarithms on one side. So when that happens, kids, you're not gonna drop the logarithm because you're not gonna have log equals log. So we're gonna subtract the 3. We're gonna divide by the negative. And we're gonna log it. 10 to the negative 2nd equals x plus 2. See what I'm doing? So 1/100 equals x plus 2. So what's x? Negative 199 over 100. Which is gonna be okay in my equation because it's less than 2, so let's go. So fundamentally, these last two problems, they're logarithmic equations. If you have logs on both sides, then work to get log equals log and drop them. If you only have logs on one side, work to get it by itself and then log roll it. 10 to the negative 2nd equals x plus 2.
If there's a negative in the log, does make it then worse because the answer is back to positive?
No, because the negative in front of the log is an exponent. It has nothing to do with the log. All right. Good work.